Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and We'd Say Wind has sent out a warning to people about a phishing scam. Scammers are sending emails about interruptions to the Zaman and Zaman desktop clients. It's fake. Looks like here's the, this must be one of the emails. They're trying to get you to click links as usual, so that they can send your crypto out of your wallet and hack your accounts. I don't worry about this stuff anymore, folks, because of the iTrustCapital, my partner, their closed loop system. They develop products within closed loop system with multi built-in security layers. IRA accounts, for example, only allow USD and crypto assets to be sent to and from you after multiple verification steps. PCA accounts utilize the same concept, but only USD is permitted for withdrawals by design, and for added protection, PCA accounts do not permit transfers to external wallets. That stops them dead in their tracks, folks. Even if you did click on a link, and even if they did hack your iTrustCapital account, there are safeguards in place, and one of the big ones is the closed loop system, which they can't even send crypto out. Only the bank account you have on record. If you want to open an account like I did, I have several accounts, IRA and premium custody, and I sent my XRP right into the premium custody. You can go to iTrustCapital.com/XRPArmy. They even have a promo code to get a $100 funding bonus if it's a new account. Go check it out. All right, XRP had come down. It's now working its way slowly back up. The market's at 3.95 trillion. It just feels like it's ready to go. 900 million XRP scooped up by whales in the last 48 hours. Ripple just moved 20 million RLUSD from Ethereum to the XRP ledger from Zach Rector and then Ripple stablecoin tracker. See where this is going? And Vivo Power to gain exposure to 211 million XRP tokens through budgeted $100 million acquisition of privately held Ripple shares. The XRP exposure is valued at $696 million based on prices. Ripple holds 41 billion XRP tokens, or roughly 41% of supply, with backing from investors like Andreessen Horowitz and Google Ventures. Vivo Power will be the first and only U.S. listed company to offer shareholders indirect exposure to Ripple and XRP holdings. Somebody sent me this. Adam Trademan is with Vivo Power. If you remember, he's the guy that created the BRD wallet, and he's also the guy that was the CEO of SBI Mining Chip and SBI Ripple Asia. He's also the guy, we've shown you videos before, he was talking about how Yoshitaka Katao over there, the CEO of SBI Holdings, had a priority on XRP adoption. There's trouble in Bitcoin decentralized fantasy land. Look at this. Situation with Bitcoin development is so much worse than I can discuss publicly. People tell me things in confidence, and I have to respect that. And you'll just have to take my word for it. It's completely out of control. Not sure what he's talking about, but folks, here you go. You don't have to take my word for it. Here's one of the EZA guys reminding you of the truth that they're not going to tell you on CNBC.
XRP was started as a better alternative to Bitcoin, and there's proof in the EZA app. You see, there was this one post that I keep coming back to on May 27, 2011, where it all started, and it went like this. So I've been thinking, Bitcoin mining seems like such an unfortunate side effect of the system since it's so wasteful. Wouldn't it be cool to come up with a Bitcoin that doesn't need miners? And if you want to find out for yourself, it's all in the EZA app.
And look at this. You know, what's the narrative that we've been served up over and over and over? Nobody builds on the XRP ledger, and Ethereum, the Ethereum platform just has so much development on it. But remember what Matt Hamilton, who worked on the XRP ledger and on Ethereum. He said, I never forget it in a Spaces, he said that the reason that Ethereum, I'm trying to remember how he worded it. The reason Ethereum has so much, it was something to the effect of the reason the Ethereum has so much development on it is that there are so many problems to fix, and that the XRP ledger didn't have that problem. Here's Phil Kwok from EZA showing you all of the people messaging to join the EZA app. And these guys help teach people how to build on the XRP ledger. Writings on the wall. This is Chad Steingraber being reasonable, and I agree. XRP right now, to be number 2, it needs to be $9.45. To be number 1, it needs to be $40.95. You know what's coming, don't you? Hester Pierce, last week SEC's case against Ripple was finally laid to rest. Welcome to development for many reasons, including that minds once occupied with litigation can now concentrate on creating a clear regulatory framework for crypto. Paul Atkins, the SEC chair, replies, Commissioner Pierce is right. With this chapter closed, we now have an opportunity to shift our energy from courtroom to policy drafting table. Our focus should be on building a clear regulatory framework that fosters innovation while protecting investors. Somebody needs to buy this man a beer. What else were we told? We were told that Bitcoin's going to replace gold. Well, according to Donald Trump, gold will not be tariffed. I thought gold was not important anymore. I thought that's what the Bitcoin people told us. Yeah. And then here is Nate Garachi about ETFs and the boatload of crypto ETF filings and what's coming.
Seeing a lot of what you call a boatload of crypto ETF filings. What does that mean, and how does that differ from what we've seen in the past?
Well, it's interesting because the 3 major stock exchanges, so NYSE, NASDAQ, and CBOE, they have all filed with the SEC for generic listing standards for crypto ETFs, which basically means that the exchanges wouldn't need to seek specific approval for each spot crypto ETF as long as it meets certain criteria. So this would streamline the approval process. And that's important because right now there are filings out there from multiple issuers for XRP ETFs, Solana ETFs, Cardano, HBAR. We could go on down the list, but there are a boatload of filings out there. And the expectation is that the standardized crypto framework will be implemented, say, in the next 2 months or so. And so if and when that happens, I think you're going to see the floodgates open. We're going to see a wave of approvals, and you're going to see, again, a boatload of new crypto ETFs coming to market. It's been a monster year for inflows into spot crypto ETFs. About $26 billion has gone into spot crypto ETFs overall this year, about $19 billion into spot Bitcoin ETFs, another $7 billion into spot Ether ETFs. And if you look in July alone, investors put about $6 billion into spot Bitcoin ETFs and $5.5 billion into spot Ether ETFs. And if you look at spot Ether ETFs in particular, interest has certainly picked up recently. So 8 of the top 10 inflow days since this category debuted back in July of last year have happened in the past month, including all 5 of the top days since launch. And Leslie, I just think the main story here is there is a very strong regulatory tailwind behind the space right now. When you think of things like the Genius Act, which was recently signed into law, so that's stablecoin legislation. The House recently passed the Clarity Act, which is a digital asset market structure bill that will now go to the Senate. The SEC unveiled Project Crypto, and we actually had SEC Chair Paul Atkins. He was talking about bringing financial markets on chain. And so I could keep going. The SEC approved in-kind creations and redemptions for spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. They clarified their stance on liquidity staking tokens. There has just been a lot of positive movement on the crypto regulatory front. And I think that's giving investors, especially institutional investors and advisors, much more comfortability in allocating to the space. So I think the trend moving forward is certainly higher as it pertains to interest in these products.
Uh-oh. And look, here's what they're not telling you, but I'll tell you. Here's how this story ends. Altcoin flows overwhelming the Bitcoin inflows. They've had a monopoly all this time, a regulatory monopoly, and Ethereum's benefited from it too because of Bill Hinman. And it's all about to come to an end, folks. And Bitcoin's going to become an altcoin.
Trillions of dollars in assets under management, and registered reps all over the country, financial advisors can now put people in Bitcoin. We knew it was going to make it go up. We knew the Trump administration was basically friendly to crypto. This was such an inevitable move. That's why it's gone higher now. That's probably why it's going to continue to go higher, because Bank of America, for example, the biggest bank, has not yet made that decision, and they are bound to. Trillions of dollars in assets under management and registered reps.
And then finally, the Bitcoin and Ethereum people have a big problem on their hands now because Jim Cramer said this.
Jim, Bitcoin's on the move today. A lot of the crypto stocks as well. We're not quite back to 123K, but we're close.
Well, it just continues to be, anytime you ever hear about what size the deficit is, or David, you know that the trillions of dollars in the interest has made a lot of younger people feel, this and Ethereum are a better place to be. I'm a huge believer in this, by the way, because I have very little faith that we're going to be able to grow our way out of. I cannot think about how we're going to grow our way out of our situation yet. Maybe.
You mean our debt to GDP?
I've not been able to figure out a way. So it's a great hedge against the.
It conceivably is. But if there's financial Armageddon, Bitcoin hangs in there, you think?
Yeah, I do.
Uh-oh. I'll be buying XRP. Now I've heard it confirmed from Jim Cramer. Okay, in DAIXRP.com, we're gonna that's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, you can click join below any of my YouTube videos, or you can click subscribe through X to join. We do the full video, the extended video with no commercials. In there today, every once in a while, there's an account comes along that catches my interest. There is another one where they're talking about XRP and they seem to know some things. Well, another one popped up and we're going to talk about it, saying some very interesting things about XRP and where this is all going. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here's the mystery account.